Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another Buzzin walkabout here on Buzzin Pattaya. And today I'm down here on Wongamat Beach. I'll put a pin drop in a minute I'll put the pin drop in the description so you can click on that and see exactly where I am. It's a really nice area, really nice beach. Very quiet, as you're going to see. Not a lot of people come here. And I thought today what I'll do is well, let's share a few things about some things that when you come out here, they might be new to you. You might think, I don't know how that quite works. I'm not really quite sure where we're going with this or why it even happens. And I'm sure once we go through these 5 things, there'll be lots of people here that have been out before. They'll say, yeah, I remember when it first happened to me, or I never really got my head around it. So, please drop your comments below. Once I go through these things, it's what makes the channel so special. And if you'd like to hit the subscribe button, guys, I'd much appreciate it. I'm going to be bringing out a lot more shorts. It seems to be doing really well, to be honest with you, and I'm going to do a lot more little shorts where I can just do little snippets rather than go on with 20 minutes of video like we're going on today. All right, so 5 things, and the 5 things are when you see people why, when you see the text 555, what does it mean? Why do we get ice in our beer? What is a spirit house that you see and you walk past thousands of them? And lastly is, why do the Thai ladies or Thai people get these nicknames? How do they get derived and how do they come about? So I thought I'll share all that information with you. And I'll tell you what, I took one for the team today, guys. I wanted to go and get my hair cut. My God, she was brutal. I had to stop her halfway. Sweetheart, will you stop trying to dig that razor into the top of my head? It really did hurt, to be honest with you. But there you go, took one for the team. But now I look all beautiful just for you guys, and as a reward I'll turn the camera around and get myself completely out of this frame. All right, let's go. Let's have a walk around Wongamat Beach. And as you can see, it's a nice area. It's very quiet, and it really is one of my go-to beaches. I like it because it's very quiet, very out of the way, and you get left alone, to be honest. So what we're going to take a slow walk down. So the first one then, the why. Now, most of us normally would shake hands, and that's our way of greeting people, or you might give someone a hug, and that's kind of like our way of saying, hey, how you doing, how's things. Out here, physical contact is not encouraged in terms of saying hello. So what they will do is they why, and there's really 3 main whys that you need to be aware of. One is for you to why to them, and that's generally speaking if someone's elder or older than you. The next one is someone whys you, how you why back. And then you've got the why, which is for the royalty and for special people. So, golden rule number 1: if a child or a service staff why to you, you don't need to why back. That's their way of saying welcome, and you don't need to do that back. You imagine, if you walk in and you see a little boy or a little girl and they say hi, and you go hi back, and then they can put their hand out. You're like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. Hello, I'm okay, thank you. Oh, my couple mark. So you don't why back to the younger people. They're doing it to you as a mark of respect because you're a bit older. And oh wow, look at this. Look at that. He never made it. Sorry, mate. Is that a pufferfish? It's amazing what you find. Look at the beach. Yeah, so you don't why back to people that are whying to you that are younger than you. That's a given. When you why to say hello, you put your hands just under the chin. And that's when you put your hands together and you why, and that's just a mark of respect. It's a bit like shaking hands with someone saying hello. That's how that works. If you're whying to an elder, then you why just under your nose, just under the tip of your nose. Put hands together and clasp them and put them just under the tip of the nose, and that's a mark of respect. So if you go up to the villages or you see an elderly person, you always why to them first, and you'll notice that some will why back, some don't, depending on their stature. But you put the fingertips just at the touch of your nose, and that's how you why, and you slightly bow your head. And if you're ever fortunate enough to get involved with royalty or dignitaries, then you bow your head down, you lower your body, and you put the fingertips up to the brows of your eyebrows, and that's how you why to them. So when you do come out here, you are going to experience it. Don't be offended, don't be freaked out by it. It is how it is, and just remember, if someone is younger than you, you don't why back. All right, next one, 555 in conversations. So when you speak Thai, the number 5 is ha. So when you're seeing 555, that's their way of going ha ha ha. So don't be confused when you see people send you messages. If you've got a exchange line or whatever, and you're sending messages to your newfound friends, and they may well end a conversation with 555. That's the equivalent to us using ha 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 or LOL, laugh out loud. These are the kind of things that they will drop in on a text, and that's what you're going to see. So you see 555, it's the same as ha ha ha. There you go, that was short and easy, that one. All right, the next one, and this one, I love it. It gets so many people, ice in the beer. So when you go out to the rural areas, generally speaking, most, if not all of the Thais will drink beer with ice in a glass. And that's replicated when you come down here. And a lot of the time, it's down to the fact that when you put beer in a glass, it gets warm very quickly. Because out here, obviously, the temperatures are such that it just heats it up really, really quickly. And before you know it, you've got warm beer. And no matter how you may or may not feel, warm beer is not nice. So that's why they put ice in the beer. And if you want ice in your beer, then when the waiter comes out and say, "Al gel namkang cup." Gel is glass, namkang is ice. Al gel namkang cup. If you don't want it, say, "My al gel." I don't want a glass, thank you. They'll put the old speedboat out. The jet ski. They'll just say, "Oh, my al gel cup, my belay." So I don't want any glass with ice. But I have to say, even though it's a bit weird and probably completely, against your whole culture and how you've ever drunk beer in the past, I've got to say, to be honest with you, it's actually quite good. And the reason being is you're ingesting the water while you're drinking, and it makes your hangovers less brutal. Of course, if you drink 500 pints, well then the water's irrelevant, you're going to be slaughtered. But yeah, they will put ice in the beer. Now, when you walk around, you're going to see what is known as spirit houses. Please, if nothing else, remember, don't touch them, don't make fun of them, point at them. It's extremely disrespectful, and you will not be Mr. Popular if you do that. And what the spirit house is for, they've got two styles mainly. They've got the wooden one and the concrete one. And the wooden one's mainly up in the rural areas, concrete more down here. Oh, the old boys there playing, good on them fellas, a game of volleyball. Yeah, the concrete ones are mainly up in the built-up areas. And what the spirit house replicates, it is the spirit of the land. It's the Lord of the land. And they put them there because they believe, and I'll go into it in a little bit more detail in a second, they believe that the spirits can affect agriculture if you're up in the rural areas, and it can affect financial status if you're here in the built-up areas. So there's a certain bit of criteria for that, and the first thing you've got to know about is that the spirit house must never fall in the shadow of the building it's protecting. It must never be covered by the shadow of the building. It cannot be on the left-hand side of a door, and it can't face a toilet, nor can it face the road. It has to face away from that. So it can't be in the shadow, and it has to face away. It can't be too high, because it has to be high for the respect, but it can't be too high that you can't give offerings. So when they come up there, they'll sit in front, they'll pray, and they'll put stuff inside, and that's to offer to the spirits to keep them protected and guard them from all the things that they want to be protected from. And when they get these spirit houses, the Brahman priest, he's invited to come along. He welcomes the spirits, and he asks the spirits to protect the owners and the family, and to bring them prosperity. And if they're up in the rural areas, to give them good crops. So that's the meaning of a spirit house. And I'd say probably 95, if not 99% of the places here have them. It's extremely religious. Don't mess about with them. And you'll see that inside they put little wooden trucks and cars and stuff like that. That's to allow the spirit to get transport. And when they pray, they'll put incense sticks inside. And the incense sticks, where the smoke comes off the incense, it heads up to the heavens, and it's the way that they carry the prayer up to the spirits. So there you go, guys. As you can see, it's a lot more meaningful than probably what you imagine in regards to like these decorative designs, but they're very, very important to the Thai people. So please, guys, never be disrespectful, and don't get yourself in any situation with them, because trust me, it ain't going to end well. All right, so what have we got next? Oh yeah, the nicknames. We're going to do that next. There you go, look at that. Beautiful still day. And if you haven't been down to this beach, guys, come down. You can rent the jet skis, they're fine. No issues like you're going to get back on Pattaya Beach. It's literally a lot safer than normal. And some really nice hotels here. Really nice hotels. And big condos, look at that up there. Beautiful. And then the far distance there. Well, I'll tell you what, rather than me tell you, what do you think that building is? Those of you that know will know, and those of you that don't know will not know. All right, so I'm going to head backwards, and while I do that, let's go through the last one. So you go into a bar, you meet a girl, and you say, oh, hi, what's your name? And she might call herself Mu, or Ya, or Yai, or Owen, all these kind of weird names. And you're thinking to yourself, where on earth did that name come from? So Thai people have two names. They have their real name, and then they have a nickname. And the real name is only used for things like documentation, like driving licenses, all those kind of things. The rest of them, they use their nickname. And their nickname is basically given to them at birth. But it's not just thrown out, it's not just a random nickname. So it's a very cultural tradition. Giving out a nickname here from the family to the child is a very big cultural tradition. And the nickname, it can be anything, like it can be an appearance, you know, such as fat or thin, big, small, tall, short. They look at you and they give you those nicknames accordingly. And if they're very superstitious, and some of them are, they'll give you a nickname to try and ward off the spirits. So remember we talked about the spirit houses and about how important they are? Well, the nickname is equally as important. If they're very spiritual and they're very religious, they will use a name like a pig or a dog or a fat, and they'll hopefully use that name for the spirit, to stop the spirit coming into the baby and taking the baby away from them. And I'm sure probably, you know, you're listening to this thinking, what on earth is he going on about? But I'm just trying to give you a bit of cultural background as to what goes on here. Likewise, you know, when you go around someone, they've just had a newborn baby, say, oh, the baby's beautiful. They won't say that here. They will never call their baby beautiful. And the reason being is, again, going back to the spirits, they're worried that if the spirit hears that the baby's beautiful, the spirit will come down and take the baby away from them. So they won't ever say that, even though your baby might be a blinder. So they'll take a lot of thought, a lot of effort. They'll really dig into it and figure out what they want to nickname the baby. And then once they've done that, they'll come up with their list, and then they will go and consult with the monk or a fortune teller to get their approval and to get their thoughts on the choice of the nickname that they've given the person. So there you go. Maybe you've learned a little bit today. Maybe I bored you to tears and you're thinking, damn, he's going on about some stuff today. But I just thought I'd share it with you and let you get an idea as to what they're doing. So let's spin the camera around. There we go. There we go. Did you know any of that? I've got to admit, like when you come out, Thais are very brutal in the way they are. They'll talk about you. I've mentioned this before. You know, they're very direct and blunt, but they don't mean it in a nasty way. So, for instance, you know, they'll look at a black man, they'll call him Chocolate Man, and you're like, oh God, like you can't be doing that. Like, what's that about? But they don't mean any harm by it. It's just their descriptive nature. Same if they look at someone and you're fat, they'll call you Owen or Pompoi. And again, you know, they're quite brutal in their description, and they'll think nothing of walking up to you and squeezing your belly. If you're like me and you don't have a six-pack, they'll squeeze your belly and they'll go, oh, Owen. And they'll say, oh, fat. And then they'll say, can you buy me a drink? So they'll insult you in one hand and ask for a drink with the other. And as we normally do, we go, yeah, go on then, go and get a drink. But it can be quite comical. And like they'll think nothing of, if you've got like a spot on your face, they'll come up to you and go, oh look, seal. And they'll point to your spots. So if you are a little bit tender in terms of how people talk about you or how people describe you, and you know, these kind of things, keep your guard down, don't worry. It's not personal, it's not nasty. It really genuinely is just the way that they are. And that side of things is never going to change. It will never change. And likewise, you can have a laugh and a joke. When you get to know them, you can have a laugh and a joke with them. And you can say things like, oh no, look, you know, you're fat as well, look at this. You know, and you can have a laugh. But yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid when they start giving you some. All right, so there we are. I think that's about it today. Hopefully, if nothing else, you've learned a little bit. Do you drink ice in your beer? Come on, fess up. I do. Although when I come down here, I'll drink bottled beer. But when I go home, I use a glass with ice because, again, you know, the refrigeration here is not is a lot better down here in the bars than it is up in the village. And you're thinking, how does that work? But what I mean is that the turnover is quicker, so you get cold beer. But up there, I put ice in my beer. And it works for your hangover. You don't get a hangover. Honestly, trust me, try it out, have a go. See what you think. And remember, 555, ha ha ha. That's what that stands for. And I've told you about the spirit houses. I've told you about the nicknames. And remember the why. So when a young person whys to you, you don't why back. And when you want to why, you why here. To elders, it's here. And to the royalty, it's up here. All right, that's it from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much indeed for watching. Please, as always, remember, hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I bring out a new video. Check out Discord, 19,000 members now. It's going from strength to strength, completely free of charge. There's no charge whatsoever, but there's a huge amount of information on there. So please have a look on there. It really is a fantastic platform, and you know, you'll have a great time on there. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description below, and membership starts with as little as 89p a month. There we are. That's it from me, guys. Thank you so much indeed. And please, as always, wherever you are in the world, stay safe.